Chris Pollard, Duke head baseball coach. The home away from home, the Athens Regional. First of all, sir, congratulations. Second, you want to play your home games in Athens next year?
It's been a fun trip. 2018 was a great memory. It was great to relive some of those experiences this past weekend. It's a beautiful ballpark. Athens is a great college town, and we've had a lot of success down there. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, pleasure is absolutely mine. All right, let's get into what made it possible. I mean, your lineup was good throughout. You had like tremendous clutch hits. We'll talk about what Sam Harris did with 2 outs in the 8th inning yesterday afternoon. Yes, was the afternoon, evening? I think it was in the afternoon. Don't even remember anymore. It's the whole weekend runs together. But if you had to sum up what this weekend was about, what was it?
Well, if I summed it up in one word, it would have been toughness, right? I thought our team was really tough. I thought our competitive fight was really good. But in addition, we played really good baseball, Adam. I mean, we pitched it. We were timely with our hitting. We played great defense. I thought our guys were really good in all 3 phases.
No doubt about it. You mentioned your pitching. 9 walks total in 3 games. Pretty good. 3 combined in the last 2. I mean, that is remarkable in making the other guys earn it.
Well, I think what makes it especially impressive is the fact that that's a very, very hitter-friendly ballpark.
Yeah.
And you have 2 great offenses. Both those teams can really swing the bat. So to pitch as well as we did, to limit the free offense, it just speaks to the job that Brady Kirkpatrick, our pitching coach, has done. And I told our team, I said, I thought the job he did of calling those 3 games put our pitchers in a position to be successful.
Chris Pollard, Duke head baseball coach, is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. I know you guys are going to be watching intently what happens between Murray State and Ole Miss tonight. That's a 6 o'clock game. I'm sure you know that. Will you watch as a group?
No, we'll let these guys get a little space. We're on our way back. We're about an hour from Durham. We'll get in the weight room a little bit this afternoon and let these guys go back and put their feet up a little bit. But you can rest assured we'll all be tuned in.
No doubt about it. It's the difference between staying home and going down to Oxford, which I'm sure is another lovely college town, but they don't play those games on the Grove. Chris Pollard is joining us here. So let's start with what happened in the 8th inning last night. And given the opportunities the previous few innings where you had some runners on and couldn't get a key hit or failed to execute what you were trying to do offensively, to have Sam Harris come through, I'm assuming against Oklahoma, one of Oklahoma State's best, even though you guys had torn him up earlier, I guess it was on Friday. What an unbelievable moment for him to come through.
Yeah, I can't say enough about Sam Harris and his growth as a player. That's a guy that had 4 at-bats for us last year as a true freshman. Now, we knew he was incredibly talented. He has enormous raw power, maybe as good a raw power as anybody we've ever had in the program, but came into college with a lot of swing and miss in the barrel and went this summer and really worked at his craft and came back better for the experience and just has continued to grow throughout the year. And, and he had to be patient early in the year when he was in more of a platoon role.
Yeah.
But of late, we've had him in there basically all the time, and he's just given us a lot of great at-bats.
It's also not easy to be a DH, right?
No question, right? And he's a guy that won't be a DH for long. He'll certainly move to first base next year and potentially play some outfield. But, with some veteran guys in those 2 spots, he's assumed that DH role, and he's done a terrific job with it.
All right, now the hit that got you guys going, the A.J. Gracia home run to lead off that inning. Later on, first of all, an absolute bomb, opposite field over 420 feet. later on in the inning, I don't know if he was he ejected for taking 2 steps onto the field, holding that construction hat. Walk me through what you saw and how the umpire reacted.
Yeah, well, it was confusing in the moment, right? So AJ hits the home run in the bottom of the 8th to make the ball game 2-1. As is customary in college baseball, all across the country,
Right.
Our guys have a celebration in the dugout, right? When that hitter comes into the dugout after a big hit or scoring a big run, they'll take off his batting helmet, and the guys put that construction helmet on him, and that's a way for them to celebrate and enjoy it as teammates. That's been a tradition in college baseball for a long time. A few years ago, the NCAA felt like those celebrations were spilling out onto the field. They were getting too close to the plate. They were, inciting the other team. They were disrespecting the other team. And so they made a rule that you have to have those celebrations in the dugout. And we've stuck by that. We've abided by that rule throughout. And so he got to the dugout. He got inside the dugout. The construction helmet was put on his head. The inning continued. And AJ was standing there cheering on his teammates wearing the construction helmet.
Right.
When Sam Harris got the hit with 2 outs, Ben Rounds made a great break from first base. And it was a great send. It was a great job by our third base coach, Derek Simmons, of waving Ben Rounds home. So we've got a guy that scores on a base hit from first base to take the lead in the championship game of a regional, to send us to a super regional in the bottom of the 8th. And when he scored, our guys are excited, and they jump up in front of the dugout, and guys are jumping up and down and just ecstatic to high five their teammates as they're coming back over to the dugout. And AJ, like any guy would do, was right in the middle of it. He's a great teammate, and he was out there jumping up and down, ready to celebrate his teammates. There was no disrespect. There was no showing up the other team. There was no back and forth between us and the other team. There was no taunting. It was just genuine, raw excitement in a big moment in a big ball game. The umpire, initially, I thought was just encouraging guys to get back in the dugout, keep the celebration in the dugout. And we started to kind of shoo guys back in.
Yeah.
If you watch college baseball this weekend, one thing you see all over the place is guys celebrating with their teammates right out in front of the dugout, right?
Mm-hmm.
I saw it happen time after time last night after I got back to the hotel and continued watching baseball. And it wasn't until a few seconds later when I thought the game was about to resume that one of our players said, "Hey, Coach, I think they threw AJ out of the game." And I said, "What?" And I looked back towards the field, and I walked out, and he simply said, "You've got to tell 29 to leave the dugout." And I asked why, and he said because he brought a prop out onto the field. And I was stunned, honestly, and I continue to be really angry and disappointed about it. It's a misappropriation of a rule. It's a misinterpretation of a rule. And if you watched any of that regional, you saw in other games a lot of taunting, a lot of bat flipping, a lot of pointing, a lot of jawing. Our guys were just celebrating each other's success, and I think it was egregious. I think it was a travesty. We're appealing it to the NCAA today, and hopefully we'll get positive feedback.
All right. Is there a chance that maybe they could rescind, at the very least, the carryover part of the suspension that would take AJ out for Game 1 of the Super Regional?
I sure hope common sense prevails.
All right.
We'll see later on today.
I have 2 other things about this very quickly. Does the umpire have discretion to go, yeah, he was not threatening, he was 2 steps onto the field, then went back in the dugout? Does he have discretion to not call that?
Absolutely. Just like there's discretion with bat flips, just like there's discretion with taunting, he could have just simply said, "Hey, Chris, those guys have got to get back in the dugout. He can't have that helmet out on the warning track." That's all it took.
All right.
That's all it took. It's just common sense and discretion.
In the game previous to yours, Georgia and Oklahoma State, I don't remember the player's name on Georgia. I think he hit 2 home runs in the game. The first home run, I'm pro bat flip. I mean, I don't want to see what Jose Bautista did for the Blue Jays a decade ago, where he throws the bat, 1,700 feet in the air. But to me, the kid held the bat, ran halfway to first, and then flipped it. And he didn't flip it high. He just kind of end over end flipped it, and the umpire said something to him. And then the next time the kid hit the home run, the umpire was following him like he was like the vice principal of a high school, and the guy just laid the bat down. And I thought he sort of mocked the umpire anyway, which I would have done too. Why are these guys so uptight? I said that, not you.
Yeah, I think that what you have oftentimes in an NCAA regional environment, or you have some umpires that maybe haven't been in that environment. It's not all ACC and SEC umpires working those events. Oftentimes you've got guys from maybe smaller conferences, mid-majors.
Right.
And, those atmospheres are intense. It's heated, and you need folks in that environment with experience handling those kinds of situations. If you work in the ACC or the SEC, you handle those kind of moments every weekend because they're intense and they're big crowds and there's a lot on the line. But I think I coached at a mid-major. You may not get that type of intensity in a weekend series at a smaller conference level, and so that's where I think experience really matters. And I think it's really important that we get the best umpires covering these events.
Yeah, I've seen way worse not called. There was taunting back and forth between Oklahoma and Carolina yesterday that just went to me. I thought it was part of the game. I thought it was sort of fun, not in any way damaging or threatening, or I didn't think it was going to lead to anything that was really that would have been a problem. I just thought it was part of the game. Call it flavor. And that was fine, and I didn't think that what happened with AJ yesterday had any bearing on anything, and to me it would be a crime to have him miss a game. As I shouldn't say I'm a former coach. You're a coach, but I am somebody who grew up playing the game. Did Oklahoma State miss a cutoff situation? Was the second baseman not where he was supposed to be?
Yeah, it's a tricky play, Adam. So you're right in between on that ball, whether you should run a traditional cut and relay or run what we call a tandem relay, meaning both middle guys go out
right
to handle the baseball. And I think they got caught in between on which relay defense they wanted to run. And that allowed for us to actually score that run without even having to play at the plate.
No question. The guys on TV completely missed it, but I'm like, where was the second baseman going? Why was he run? He was running to first, man. The only thing that mattered was not letting round third and score well. All right, so when do you leave? If it is Ole Miss, when do you leave for Mississippi?
Yeah, we won't know. We won't know until tomorrow. As you know from covering super regionals over the years, you could have a Friday, Saturday, Sunday super regional, or you could have a Saturday, Sunday, Monday super regional. And we won't know until all the games are decided and TV kind of decides what schedule they want. And all of that's driven by TV. So we'll wake up tomorrow morning and I guess tonight we'll know if we're going somewhere or we're staying home. But tomorrow morning, if we are going to Oxford, we'll wake up and find out which day we'll be leaving campus. All
right, final thing. Will you be on campus if you do host, or will there be other arrangements?
We'll be at Coombs Field on campus.
There you
Can't
go.
wait. We've been working towards an opportunity like this for 13 years. And our guys are excited, and we'll be really big Murray State fans tonight.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. And it would be interesting to host a super regional before you host a regional, but that's another matter altogether. Chris Pollard, Duke baseball coach, congratulations once again for reaching a fourth super regional in 7 years. Man, that is awesome. The job you're doing over in Durham is just tremendous. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me on, Adam.
Appreciate it. Chris Pollard here on the Adam Gold Show.